Season 2, Episode 3 of Yellowjackets has just been released, and it was an episode that definitely pushed the plot forward in the right way. Finishing with the French phrase Il Veut Du Sang, which when translated into English is He Wants Blood, and a song containing lyrics Can't Stop What's Coming, the ending of this episode definitely showed that darker things are to come. With investigative work being done in the present day, along with what seemed like regretful repercussions in the past following the consumption of Jackie, along with Ben also looking like he's on his last leg, let's recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from this most recent episode. So let's get into it. Here is Yellowjackets Season 2 Episode 3 Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. As we embarked onto the ending of the episode, there were two main things that we saw occurring, one in the past and one also in the present day. Within the past, we saw that they were all gathered around for Shauna's baby shower that they were holding, and following Lottie deciding to give Shauna a blanket to wrap around the baby so it wouldn't go cold, one which she decided to draw the haunting symbol on, Shauna proceeded to have a nosebleed, which was then followed by many birds falling out of the sky and hitting the roof of the cabin that they were in. Birds falling from the sky can often be a sign of the apocalypse and a dangerous time for the state of the world. However, I think this is more leaning towards the world that the Yellowjackets are currently in. It can also be representative of a change taking place and that one's life purpose could be going in a different direction, something which we're seeing is apparent within many of the girls that are stranded, Lottie, Ty, and even Shauna. With Shauna getting rid of the blanket after the blood from her nose dripped directly onto the symbol, I think she viewed it as a bad omen herself, and doesn't want anything to do with it. Judging by what we saw occurring in the present day with Lottie viewing all of the bees as being in a state like the birds were in, and then getting so upset, it must mean that something terrible is going to follow the birds being seen like that. Within the present day, we saw that Natalie was reluctantly participating in one of the workshops that Lottie was running, and she was made to approach the individual that she wounded when she was locked up. This gave us a glimpse into the dark side of Lottie's cult that she's the leader of, as she said that she could hurt Natalie in an act of revenge, which is something that I thought we were going to see happen. However, she instead hugged her and said that she forgave her. Following this happening, we saw Lottie walk outside and she saw that all of her bees were upside down, deceased, and where the honey would usually be stored, it was filled with blood. As somebody came over to her, Lottie heard the words Il Veut Du Sang, which when translated into English means he wants blood, which is most probably why she saw the blood on her hands and within the bee farm. However, it turned out it was all a vision and it didn't actually happen, with Lottie looking as though she was in a completely upset state, and with the lyrics to the song in the background containing the words "Can't Stop What's Coming," it shows that something horrific is on the horizon. Who is it that wants blood? Could it be the man with no eyes that we heard Ty referencing earlier on in the episode? I think it could well be, so I guess we're going to have to see what happens with that. Maybe the man with no eyes asks for sacrifices, something which we could see occurring in the past and also within the present day if Lottie feels as though she needs to act. Let's break the rest of the video down by the main characters. Ben. Ben had a really interesting arc in this episode. He's definitely feeling the repercussions of not consuming Jackie and the fact that he's now starving to the point where he's struggling and hallucinating. It also showed us that he was now seeing the girls in a completely different light, almost as if they were rabid humans that would eat others. Hence why he kept his distance. The episode started with us seeing him with his boyfriend Paul before he went off on the plane with the Yellowjackets, and it seemed as though it was a turbulent relationship with differences. We saw him thinking about when they were cooking a meal together, and then also when a question arose which was about them moving in together, which Ben didn't really want to do due to his commitment to coaching, and that was what ultimately cost him his relationship to Paul. We did see though, he went back and spoke with Paul and said how he quit the Yellowjackets and that he wasn't going to be their coach anymore, but I think that was a hallucination of something that never actually happened, but he's imagining and wishing that he did, as he wouldn't be in the situation where he was stranded, and he wouldn't be living a life that was a lie. I think the gradual decline of the character shows that he's most probably going to be next in line to be consumed by the rest of the group, so I don't think we're going to have much time left with him. Misty. I really enjoyed watching Misty's story in this episode. We saw her meet with Walter, who was the individual that she'd spoken to on the detective forum before, and we got a brief glimpse of in the second episode. We saw that they were going to interrogate an individual over the whereabouts of Natalie as Misty was still searching for her, and it turned out to be none other than Randy, who didn't actually spill that much information, other than the fact that they were in purple cloaks and consumed all of the Fantas. However, I feel this was more about Misty building a relationship with Walter, and us seeing that there's going to be more to come with the pair of them. With him also asking her about Adam and her lying about her connection to him, I think we're going to see an unraveling of a web of lies, but we will see the pair grow closer, as I feel there could be a genuine connection. There was a powerful moment in the past with the younger version of Misty where she delivered a monologue, and at first everybody was laughing, but by the end everybody was captivated. You could sense the passion, rage, and words about wanting to go first and wanting to hit something due to the anger within was something that was felt by all. Ty is a character that's proving to be more and more interesting as the episodes go on. Her connection to the symbol is one that feels stronger than anybody else in the entirety of the show, even Lottie. Within the past, we saw that she was sleepwalking during the night and was claiming that the man with no eyes was somebody that she was following, a figure that we've seen with short appearances all throughout this season so far, and even in the previous season, so I feel we're going to see more of it as the episodes go on. There was also a moment where her hallucinations were occurring when she was in the hospital. She saw Simone, Sammy, and also the alternative side to herself. The darkness that she never sees was present within the bathroom mirror when she turned around. It was speaking to her, but it was inaudible, so it seems as though it's getting more of a grasp over her life that she's trying to lead, especially with her drawing the symbol on Simone's hand. Shauna and Jeff. This is a relationship that just feels as though it's doomed. Jeff was mourning the fact that he felt as though he was an extremely boring version of himself, and despite Shauna saying that he wasn't, it certainly felt as if he was. We saw him try to do a spontaneous act of driving out of state, but once they were driving down the road, they ended up getting their car stolen. Something which Jeff's behavior probably meant was more likely to happen, as he prevented Shauna from threatening the guy. However, we saw later on Shauna had a tracker in her car and she was able to track it down. We had a moment where we saw the darker side of Shauna, where she was speaking about peeling back the skin of somebody and the look on somebody's face when they were dying. This could well be referencing what happened with Jackie or even Adam, but there was something sinister that was going on in her mind as she was speaking about this, so I think it is to do with something that we're going to see unfolding throughout the rest of the season, and not something that we've seen before. The past version of Shauna said that she felt as if everything was getting out of control and that she was worried, so it could potentially be tied into what's to come. Overall review. I thought that this episode was a good one. It was slightly slower in pace compared to the first two, but it was definitely needed. There wasn't a standout horrific moment, but there were certainly haunting ones. Being titled Digestif, which is something that is consumed to aid digestion after a meal, this episode most certainly acted as that. I think Ben is in for a death that he definitely doesn't deserve, as he's the only person that seems to be controlling themselves and isn't consumed by the ever-present darkness, but it's going to be his downfall. With the next episode being titled Old Wounds, I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to bring. So, there you have it, Yellowjackets Season 2 Episode 3 Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this episode? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.